Hey guys, what is up? So I got this question here I'm gonna answer. It's gonna be a hot freaking day today in Toronto, like 40 degrees with the humidity. So heading down to hang out with my brother by his pool in the city, and I got this question from Lord Barra, and he goes, he's from Australia. He goes, I've inherited $60,000 Australian, and I want to know how to put it to use. My first thought was an E92, let's kill that music, E92 M3, which is in Australia would cost 50,000 US. Realistically though, I have other priorities. I'm 34, I rent, I have no other savings or assets. I've lived large and spent everything I've earned so far. I've wasted so much. Your channel's inspired me to take action. Watching you chill in your M3, I see how relaxed you must truly be, not worrying about money, which is my single biggest stress point. I hate debt more than I can articulate, and I'm very risk adverse. I'd rather spend on an M3 now, call it a waste, but have an M3 rather than invest and lose even half of it due to market swings. Generally speaking, do you have any advice? My trade is IT, 15 years experience, I'm single with no liabilities. All right, let's do this shit. Okay, so you're 34, single, you don't own any assets, hate debt, and you've inherited about 50 grand. So what do you do? Well, first of all, at 34, dude, you should have a lot more than nothing. You know, if I'm being honest with you, like, you guys are probably watching my videos by now and subscribe because you know that when it comes to the cold hard truth, I don't fuck around, I just call it like it is. So by the age of 34, you should have something saved up, you should have some assets. Buying a car like a, you know, like a $50,000 M3 shouldn't be a big deal for you, it shouldn't be a struggle. So you're making some bad choices in life somewhere. You got to take a close, a lot of people in debt. Okay, let me just back up for a minute. So I own a credit card debt relief company. It's called totaldebtfreedom.ca. I don't talk about it much on my channel because that's not what the channel's about. It's really about becoming a better version of yourself. But I've run this business for almost 15 years. I've been in the credit card debt relief space for a long time now. And the thing I've noticed about people that have no assets, that have lived large, and can end up in credit card debt. I know you say you hate debt more than anything else, but the thing I've noticed about people consistently is they don't take ownership for their shit. They don't take ownership for where they are in their life. They don't take ownership for the choices that they've made that have led them to where they are today. They just don't take ownership. And you've got to take a good hard look in the mirror when it comes to situations like this. And the only person you can blame for where you're at right now is yourself. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else is to blame for where you are today but you. That's it. It's simpler if you just own that and you accept it, because once you've done that, then you can move on towards building a better life for yourself and becoming a better version of yourself. So you've asked, you've got $50,000. Should you go and blow it on a car? I would say no. You know, unless you're going to buy something that's going to appreciate in value or be worth more, you've just inherited a bit of a lottery ticket. It's not a big one, granted, but you've inherited a bit of a lottery ticket. You don't have anything. I drive, I mean, this car right now in the used market's worth like $38,000 if I'm lucky. So I drive a $38,000 car. Can I drive a exotic car? Yeah, I could drive an exotic car. Do I choose to do that? No, because I invest my money in products that get me a 12 to 15% return consistently and safely. So I'd rather build wealth that way. And I have enough fun in this car that it keeps me happy. It's convertible, it's fast enough, it makes all the right sounds, it doesn't offend women. You know, it's a nice car for what it is. They're brilliant cars, but for where you're at in your life, I would discourage you from blowing all your money on a car and look at ways to multiply it before you start, you know, chucking it at things that are depreciating, that don't go up in value, that are toys. I mean, at 34, you should have a shitload more than nothing. You know, when it comes to dating prospects and women, I know some of you guys have commented on some of those other videos. It matters that you have your shit together, that you can signal that you have your shit together. If you're the kind of guy that just has a, you know, like a fast car, or, you know, a good-looking car, but you got nothing else to offer somebody else, you know, the opposite sex, as far as, you know, in dating prospects, and then you get pissed off and you go, oh, these women, they don't, you know, they're all about money and material things. I'm going to do a separate video on that because somebody asked a similar question. Then again, you know, you're just really blaming yourself for where you're at in those scenarios. Gotta grab myself an iced coffee because it's hot as a mofo. So you know, like I said, you got to take a close look at yourself and ask yourself, are you happy with where you're at today? Like, is this, you know, like a place that you want to be at? All right. So back to your point of what you should do with the money and should you buy an M3? You know what? Again, you know, a lot of you guys ask me these questions. What should I do with the money? What should I do? Blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what your preferences are. Fuck's sakes. Sorry about that, man. Taking phone calls while I'm driving. Find ways to invest money to get the return that you're looking for, so you're not just blowing all your shit on one thing. And don't be afraid of the markets taking all your money. Educate yourself and learn what you're doing and find ways to make solid returns on your money rather than worried about throwing it all away. They do exist. There is the opportunity to make a good return. And delayed gratification. I'm going to point to one last thing before I wrap up the video. In studies that lasted, I think it was over 35 to 45 years, they did a study on what actually is the #1 indicator of success, happiness in life and relationships, in children all the way through adulthood, up until about the age of 35 is when the study had concluded. And they put all these, you know, questions up, like, is it education? Is it peer group? Is it, you know, being athletic and being in sports circles and, you know, being involved in extracurricular activities, playing piano? Is it self-control and all this other stuff? And it boiled down to one thing and one thing only. Success, happiness, greatness in relationships and all that thing. And it boiled down to this one thing. And it was having self-control, which is also tied into delayed gratification. We live in an instant gratification world where it's like, shit, I just got $50,000. I'm going to go blow it on a fucking nice car because that's what I like and I think it's going to make me happy. Well, the truth of the matter is things don't make you happy. Happiness comes from within. Having the ability to control yourself is the single biggest predictor of success in children. And parents out there, I would encourage you to stop fucking spoiling your kids and giving them everything they want and letting them earn some of it. But the single biggest predictor of success is delayed gratification and having self-control. So exercise that. That's what I would encourage you to do, is exercise self-control. Start there, and I promise you your life will get better. If you got any other questions, guys, throw them in the comments below. Happy to do requests for videos. Give it a thumbs up. Of course, browse the channel. There's lots of other good stuff. And share this video with somebody that might need to see it. Thanks for checking it out. Have an awesome day. Peace.